How to use the OBV indicator in the stock market. 3 simple things to look for.
This is another short tutorial of a series of YouTube videos covering technical analysis tools, ideal for those investing in the stock market. In this video, I'll talk how to use the unbalanced volume indicator, better known as OBV. I'll show you 3 simple things to look for when using this indicator on a given stock. That way, you may profit from it if used wisely. This indicator was developed in the 60s by Joe Granville, a famous financial writer and seminar speaker.
Like other indicators, it helps to confirm or deny a trend in the stock price by thus providing signals as when to buy, sell, or stay away from a stock.
Just like other indicators we've discussed in other videos.
Moreover, the OBV can be used regardless of the trend the stock price is experiencing. OBV can be used in a bullish trend, a bearish trend, or a neutral trend.
For this technical indicator, you don't have to pay so much attention to the values it oscillates from. Instead, you should focus on the direction and line movements.
So the first thing traders in the stock market look when it comes to this indicator is consistency. They want to see the OBV doing the same thing as the stock price, for it confirms the trend. It gives reassurance or warns investors, depending on the situation, that the trend will continue. For example, a bullish confirmation occurs when the stock price and OBV are both on a bullish trend, both reaching higher peaks and higher lows. You can draw lines on both to better identify a bullish confirmation, just like I'm doing in this example. The bullish confirmation tells you the uptrend is going to continue. You may want to buy the stock to benefit from the good times.
A bearish confirmation confirms that a downtrend is going to continue. You may not want to get in yet. In this example, I drew a couple of red lines, one below the stock price and the other one right above the OBV. That way, you can have a better look of what a bearish confirmation looks like. See how both red lines are moving in the same direction? The second thing to look for in the OBV are divergences. We have talked about divergences in other videos. Here, it works pretty much the same way. Basically, you should watch out when the indicator and the stock price are not moving quite in the same direction. In this example, you can see how even though the stock price is on a bearish trend, the OBV is moving on a different direction. I drew a couple of red lines so you can see it better. That's a bullish divergence, and it means the trend is likely to reverse. See how the stock price went up afterwards? On the other hand, when the stock price peaks higher while the OBV does the opposite, it means we're in the presence of a bearish divergence, which means the trend in the stock price is not likely to continue, and it could go down pretty soon.
The third way to use the OBV is to look for signals in sideways markets. Whenever the stock is moving sideways, that is, fluctuating within a range without showing a clear uptrend or downtrend, we can use the OBV to have a clue of what might end up happening with the stock price. Will the stock price follow an uptrend, a downtrend? The OBV can help us predict the outcome. Here's an example of what happened with Tesla years ago.
The stock price was moving sideways most of the year 2012. I drew a red line to what I consider to be the resistance level for the stock price. I also drew a red line for the OBV line. Notice how the stock price fluctuates mostly below the resistance level. By the beginning of 2013, the stock price crossed above the resistance level, which became its support. However, the OBV line still remained below its resistance level. Finally, around April 2013, you can see how the OBV broke through its resistance.
Look what happened after that. The stock price broke free from its sideways trend to go on a bullish trend. This occurred only after the OBV broke through its resistance in April 2013. Here's another example from another stock, IBM, this time showing the opposite. See what happens after the OBV breaks its support. When that happens, the stock may experience a significant downtrend. Another way you can predict the ultimate trend outside the trading range is by observing what direction is the OBV taking while the stock price remains fluctuating on a neutral trend. See how the stock price was fluctuating. You can almost form a plateau when drawing a line. Now, see how when drawing a line on top of the OBV line, you don't see such a neutral trend, but an uptrend. Well, that was actually a sign of what was coming. See how the stock price ended up in an uptrend after being stuck in that neutral trend? Likewise, a downtrend in the OBV line while the stock price is experiencing a ranging trend may predict an ultimate downtrend for the stock. However, in my opinion, that reading is found less frequently. In any case, remember, like with other indicators, the OBV might give false signals. So as I mentioned before, never rely on just one indicator to buy or sell a stock. In my opinion, you should always use various technical analysis tools to minimize the risk. The OBV is just another tool that you can add to your arsenal of tools to make the right decision when investing in the stock market. I also consider company fundamentals, including the Altman Z-score to check the financial health of a company. Click on the link in the description below to see a cool website where you can get the Altman Z-score for the company you want to analyze, as well as other cool information. Hope you found this video really useful. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.